A wealthy, prominent family becomes headline news after a series of mysterious deaths are brought to light when a husband is arrested on suspicion of murder after his wife and son are found brutally gunned down on the family property. Join me while we look into the case of Alex Murdaugh and the mysterious deaths involving the Murdoch family. The Murdoch family are a well-known family who lived in Colleton County, South Carolina. Randolph Murdoch Sr. founded a law office in Hampton County in 1910. The law office grew to become a powerful practice that would go on to include 3 generations of Randolphs, ending with Alex's father, Randolph III. Alex was born in 1967 and went to the University of South Carolina where he studied law. Here is where he met Margaret Branstetter and were married in 1993. They had 2 sons, Buster, who was born in 1996, and Paul, who was born in 1999. The Murdoch family was very wealthy, owning beach houses, private islands, as well as a huge 1,772-acre estate where the family home was built in 2011. In June of 2021, this home would become the scene of a gruesome double murder, with Alex being the prime suspect, opening up investigations into other mysterious deaths involving the family. At 10:07 on Monday, June 7th, 2021, Alex called 911 to report his younger son Paul, who was 22, and his wife Maggie, who was 52, had been shot to death. Paul was shot with a shotgun at close range, while Maggie was shot with a rifle as she was running away. When questioned by the police, Alex stated that he was with his mother, who was suffering from dementia, and a severely ill father. As police started investigating the deaths of Maggie and Paul, other questions and connections started being raised with more deaths involving the family. The first death that has been possibly linked to the family was the death of Stephen Smith. Stephen Smith was a 19-year-old college student at Orangeburg Calhoun Technical College. On the night of July 8th, 2015, Stephen called his mother to tell her that he ran out of gas on the side of the road. He was later found dead due to blunt force trauma miles away from his truck. He was found in the middle of the road with a gaping head wound, his skull partially crushed, and his right shoulder dislocated, but otherwise there were no other marks on his body and his clothing was intact. The death was considered a hit and run, although there were numerous observations from police that the death was a homicide. The police noticed that the scene looked staged, and there were also talk that Buster Murdoch was involved with Stephen and that Stephen was a victim of a hate crime by the Murdoch brothers. Along with Stephen's deaths, investigators were looking into whether the death of Paul was somehow related to a boating accident that happened on February 23, 2019 that resulted in Paul being charged with 3 felony counts and was awaiting trial at the time of his death. On the night of February 23rd, Mallory Beach, her boyfriend Anthony Cook, Anthony's cousin Connor Cook, Connor's girlfriend Miley Altman, Paul Murdoch, and his girlfriend Morgan Doughty were going to a house party and decided to take Paul's boat. Paul had been seen earlier that day buying alcohol before the party using his brother's ID since all were underage. The group loaded the coolers on the boat and headed out. They went to the house party and spent a few hours there before deciding to go to a bar in downtown Beaufort where they had been seen tying the boat to the dock at around 12:45 a.m. Paul and Connor went back into the bar and ordered shots, then met up with the others around 1 a.m. They got back on the boat around 1:15 a.m. and headed out. The group member stated that Paul was extremely intoxicated and was driving in circles. The group started arguing, with some of them wanting to be let off at a nearby dock. Paul refused and instead started to increase his speed. At 2:20 a.m., the boat crashed into the Archers Creek Bridge, resulting in Mallory being ejected from the boat. Connor then called 911 and a search ensued. Everyone was transferred to the hospital except for Anthony, who wanted to help with the search. Connor had a broken jaw and Morgan's hand was badly injured. The survivors stated that at the hospital, Alex Murdaugh went room to room attempting to talk to them in an attempt to possibly silence them. Mallory's body was found a week later 5 miles down the river from the crash site. The final death that has been looked into has been the mysterious fall and death of Gloria Satterfield, who was the housekeeper for the family. On February 2nd, 2018, Gloria arrived at the family home per usual. She allegedly was climbing the stairs when she tripped over her family dog and fell down 8 steps. The fall woke up Maggie, and she woke Paul up and then called 911 at 9:24 a.m. Alex claimed he was at work 20 minutes away, but was able to arrive to the house before the emergency crew, who arrived at 9:41 a.m. Paul allegedly tried to sit Gloria up, but she fell back down. When Alex arrived, she was sitting on the steps. There was also claims that she was speaking gibberish before the emergency crew arrived. Gloria sustained a laceration to the right side of her head, a subdermal hematoma, a traumatic brain injury, multiple left side posterior rib fractures, a partially collapsed lung, and a pulmonary contusion. She was rushed to the hospital and was receiving treatment until she had a heart attack and died. No autopsy was performed and no coroner was notified. On September 6, 2021, Alex turned himself into the police and was charged with multiple counts of fraud, embezzlement, and insurance scams, resulting in around $8.5 million, as well as conspiracy and an attempted assassination for hire. On July 15, 2022, Alex was charged with the murders of his wife and son, and as of the making of this video, continuing court proceedings on those charges. This is 5 Minute Crimes. Be sure to subscribe to get updated on future videos videos. I have also created a Discord where I am fairly active on, as well as a Patreon where I post updates for current videos as well as things related to cases I cannot post on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.